Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tori and today I wanted to share how I was doing my digital timeline journaling for Week in the Life 2024. So I'm going to start by saying it's been a long time since I've recorded a video like this since I was doing digital planning sometime over a year ago. So I apologize if this video is a little weird or if the voiceover is odd because I did this on my iPad and I haven't done that in a long time either. So anyways, I started this journaling by just kind of carrying my iPad around or my phone because I am using GoodNotes and they sync between the iPad and the phone. So I just hand wrote very messily some things that I wanted to keep track of for the days that I was journaling. And then when I had some time, I came back in and then really just kind of dolled it up. So it looked really nice for when I print these out to put in my album. So for this particular one, I am going to be doing my journaling for Sunday. I recorded this whole process and it took me about 30 minutes. I will be switching back and forth between GoodNotes and Procreate because I am going into Procreate to do some of the hand lettering for any situations or any words or anything like that that I really wanted to call out. So I slept in quite a bit on Sunday, which I think we woke up at 11. So I just kind of filled in all of that blank space at the top portion of this day with just a very big word that says asleep. I'm also going to be doing all of my journaling typed. I just wasn't feeling my handwriting this week, so I decided that I would have a little bit of the hand lettering portion of it, and that was enough of my handwriting. So I'm going to be doing all of my actual journaling portions typed, and I'm using the Secretary typewriter Jumpy font. It is a paid font, but it's one of my most favorite fonts, and I use it all the time. I got mine from Creative Market, I believe. So this day was a little bit weird. I slept in and then I also fell asleep really early as well. So I am just kind of notating that on here that I slept in and then also fell asleep early. And then I will go ahead and kind of just get these things added. I really liked doing my journaling this way because it was very easy for me to carry this around, like I said earlier, and just kind of write things down throughout the day. If I was at work, I could just kind of pull out my phone and just jot a quick note down during a certain timeline or something like that, and really be able to write something down to trigger my memory for when I was able to actually do that journaling. So my daughter was still in Georgia at this time, so she gave us a video call that night. She also called us that morning as well to tell us everything that she was going to be doing that day. So I am noting both of those calls on here. I am also noting that I placed an order with Heba from My Little Journal. She recently launched some new stamps. I don't know if they've actually been announced to the public yet or not. But they were announced for the Peaches, her membership. So if you want to get in on that, join her membership. So I am just documenting that in here as well because I am part of her membership. So I did go ahead and access those and place my order. And there's quite a lot of journaling and typing on this particular one. And some of the other ones, I didn't have as much to say, so I did more doodles and things like that. I also, at the end of this document, just added a couple pieces of graph paper, and I was just kind of pasting any of these images and stuff that I was doing on that graph paper. I had a couple hours, but I think I only noted one on here where I was playing a game on my computer. I was playing Wildflowers, and I'm obsessed with it. I love it, so I wanted to get that documented in my journaling for this day as well. I had originally already hand lettered that out, but I decided that I didn't like it. It was more of a vertical type design and I wanted it to be more horizontal. So I'm just going to go back over to Procreate and just rewrite that out again and paste that into my journaling. Now, one thing that I did want to mention is the timeline that I am using for my journaling is actually a free download on the Allie Edwards blog. I did recently go back a couple of days ago and double check that it was still available for download. And it is, and I will go ahead and link that for you down in the description box if you're interested in checking this out, because like I said, it's a free download, and if you're like me, you love the free stuff, right? So I will link that for you if you're interested in sometime in the future doing your week in the life journaling like this. I really like it because it allows me to really just kind of print my photos out and decorate them, as opposed to worrying about adding words to every single photo, because for the most part, all of my words for the day are going to be on this particular sheet of paper, and then anything else is just an added bonus or extra. And it takes a lot of the pressure off of embellishing and decorating those photos and makes it a little bit more fun. So I am adding a couple of lines next to this word asleep just to kind of frame it and make it feel a little bit more finished. I drew a line at the top so that I could drag those two side lines up and make sure that they stopped at the same space and they were nice and even. That's a nice little trick that I used to do all the time when I was digital planning, and I just love that it still works and that I can still do it. This next small portion of the video is just going to be me filling in all of these journaling spots. You'll notice that my font size is different in most of these little entries, hour by hour. I did that intentionally. I wanted them to kind of fill up the space. So if I had a lot to say for that hour, then I would make the font a little bit smaller. And then if I had only a little bit to say, I would make the font a lot bigger. I think the font sizes ranged between 19 points to 24 points. I am also just using my little lasso tool to kind of draw squares. Well, I did one and I'm just copying and pasting it throughout the rest of the page. But I used my lasso tool at the beginning to just draw a big square and then take a screenshot, quote unquote, of it so that I could just cover up some of these times, because I didn't need all of the times here. And some of the things that I'm journaling about lasted longer than an hour, so I wanted to just remove one of the time slots for it. And really, it just kind of made it a lot less stressful because I didn't feel like I had to fill every single slot in. I'm not one that really enjoys having blank spaces, especially for something like this that's kind of pre-laid out for you. So I found that this worked really well for me, just kind of covering up some of these time slots. That way I didn't feel like I was doing it wrong, even though there's no right or wrong way to do it. Like the missing areas or the empty spaces make me feel like I'm not doing it correctly. I don't know, probably some type of psychological thing, but covering up those time really, really helps kind of remove that overall feeling. I did do some laundry on Sunday, so I'm going to go ahead and hand letter out the word laundry, and then underneath that, I'm going to do a little ellipses and write ew in all capitals because I hate laundry. And when I put this back over into my actual journaling page, I am going to add some text next to it that just says, I hate laundry so much, LOL, so that's there as well. I'm really excited to look back on this. I did some of my journaling like this last year, and when I went back to last year's Week in the Life album, what I completed of it at least, I really enjoyed reading these timeline journaling portions, so I'm super excited for future me to come back and read these pages since I've actually completed one for every single day this week or this past week. To see kind of how I feel and what I'm thinking about the stuff that I journaled about, especially since I did not do anything super prompted. It was either just random feelings, random thoughts, random doodles that I did. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for future me to read this. The last portion of this one is basically me just waking back up after falling asleep at 11 o'clock, and I ended up staying up the rest of the night. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit in this journaling and how I started kind of organizing some more of my photos and stuff and doing the editing that I wanted to do on them so that I could get those prepped to be printed out, because I was really trying to stay on top of this project. So I felt like this was going to help me do that. I also then went into my Adobe Illustrator app that same night and was just kind of doodling in it. And I'm going to actually go over to my Adobe Illustrator app and pull over the plant doodle that I did that night and kind of draw a little arrow to it because I was really proud of it. I thought it was super cute, and it is actually based very closely off of a plant that I have in my house. I actually pulled the photo in to Adobe Illustrator when I did it and kind of traced some of the shapes of the leaves of my actual houseplant. That is one thing that I really love doing when I'm doodling on my iPad, especially if I'm not sure really the best way to draw something. I will take a picture of it, like a real life item that I have, and kind of just pull it into Procreate or Adobe Illustrator and doodle over it while I get the shapes and stuff, like while I get the hang of those types of things. But I think that's going to be it. I'm just going to kind of move some things around and mess with them a little bit more. I'm going to add another line next to this one portion that goes from 11 to 3 a.m. since that is how late I was up for the rest of that night. And I ended that little paragraph just kind of closing out Week in the Life 2024. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!